You will meet people who smile at you but secretly hope you fail. People who speak kindness to your face and venom behind your back. That's life. It's not always fair, it's not always kind, but it's always revealing. The question isn't, why do they treat me this way? The real question is, how will I respond? Because your strength isn't proven in easy moments. It's revealed when you're surrounded by disrespect, betrayal, and pain. Staying strong around hurtful people isn't about pretending you're unbothered. It's about mastering your emotions, controlling your reactions, and choosing dignity over chaos. Pain is a teacher, not a life sentence. The people who hurt you are not here to destroy you. They're here to expose the places inside you that need healing, the boundaries that need building, and the strength that needs awakening. Most of the time, when someone wounds you with their words or actions, your first instinct is to question yourself. What did I do wrong? Why me? But that mindset keeps you trapped. The truth is, their behavior has nothing to do with your worth and everything to do with their own battles. Pain doesn't come to define you, it comes to refine you. It teaches you what you will no longer tolerate, and it gives you clarity about who truly belongs in your circle. Every painful experience you've endured is a lesson in disguise. The betrayal, the rejection, the disrespect, it all carries information. Pain exposes the gaps where you've given too much, trusted too easily, or ignored the signs that someone didn't deserve your energy. You don't grow by avoiding the sting. You grow by understanding it. The hurt you feel is feedback. It's your mind and heart showing you where to fortify your peace. You can't control what someone does to you, but you can control how long you allow them to stay close enough to keep doing it. That's not coldness. That's maturity. The moment you start seeing pain as instruction instead of injustice, everything changes. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? That shift turns you from a victim into a student, and eventually into a master. When people try to tear you down, they unknowingly push you toward becoming someone stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. The same way pressure creates diamonds, emotional pain forges resilience. It forces you to confront your weaknesses and build a foundation that can't be shaken by someone else's bitterness. But staying strong doesn't mean hardening your heart. It means learning how to protect it. You don't have to be cruel to protect yourself. You don't need revenge to reclaim your power. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is stay calm, stay kind, and stay grounded while walking away from what doesn't deserve you. That's not weakness. That's discipline. Real strength is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't seek validation. It simply knows who it is and refuses to bend under pressure. When you learn to see pain as a teacher, you stop running from it. You stop letting hurtful people define the narrative of your life. Instead, you let their actions highlight your boundaries and their cruelty sharpen your focus. You understand that not everyone deserves access to your heart, your time, or your peace. You realize that strength isn't about fighting back. It's about not allowing their behavior to change your essence. Pain doesn't break you. It builds you, if you let it. Emotional control is your superpower. The world will test you again and again, not through random events, but through people who know exactly how to press your buttons. They'll insult you, ignore you, or try to embarrass you just to see how much control you really have. Most people react instantly. They argue, defend, explain, or lash out. But in doing that, they give away their power. Every time you react emotionally to someone's disrespect, you hand them the keys to your peace. They get to decide how you feel, how you think, and how your day goes. True strength begins the moment you decide that no one gets to control your emotions except you. Remaining calm in chaos isn't weakness. It's dominance. It's easy to stay composed when life is gentle, but when someone provokes you and you still choose restraint, that's mastery. Emotional control doesn't mean you don't feel anger or pain. It means you've learned how to handle it instead of letting it handle you. The person who remains calm when everyone else is losing their temper always has the advantage, because while others waste energy reacting, you're observing, analyzing, and deciding your next move with clarity. The calm person sees the truth that emotion hides from everyone else. When you let your emotions lead, you lose perspective. Anger blurs judgment, frustration clouds logic. But when you breathe, pause, and step back, you see things as they really are. Most people who try to hurt you are doing it from a place of insecurity, jealousy, or fear. They want to see if they can shake you. They want proof that their words have power. So when you refuse to react, you take away the satisfaction they're searching for. Silence becomes your weapon. Composure becomes your armor. And peace becomes your greatest victory. You have to train emotional control the same way an athlete trains muscle. It's daily work. It's in every conversation where someone tests your patience, every situation where your pride wants to respond, and every moment your ego whispers, "Don't let them get away with it." But power isn't in reacting. It's in choosing. When you choose peace over chaos, you prove that no one can manipulate your spirit. Emotional control is not about suppression, it's about awareness. It's knowing exactly what you feel, understanding it, but not letting it command your actions. That's how you lead yourself. One of the most powerful moves you can make in life is to stay calm when everything around you tries to pull you into the storm. Because in that calmness, you protect your dignity, you protect your focus, and you protect your energy. The most valuable thing you have. People will always talk, criticize, or project their pain onto you, but when you control your emotions, you remain untouchable. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. That's how you win. That's how you stay powerful, by never letting anyone else dictate the state of your peace. Not every battle deserves your energy. Some people are not looking for understanding. They're looking for a reaction. They want to pull you into their chaos because that's where they feel most comfortable. When you argue with someone who's already decided not to listen, you lose twice. You lose your peace, and you waste your power. There's a difference between defending yourself and draining yourself. You have to learn to recognize which conversations are meant to build clarity and which are meant to feed someone's ego. Every argument doesn't need your attendance, and every insult doesn't deserve your response. Silence is not weakness, it's control. It's knowing that not everyone's opinion carries weight, and not every attack deserves attention. The loudest person in the room is usually the weakest one. They depend on noise to feel relevant. But strength, real strength, is quiet. It's steady. It doesn't seek validation or prove its worth through arguments. When you stay silent in the face of provocation, you don't lose the battle. You end it. Because you show that your peace is not up for negotiation. The more you mature, the more you'll realize that silence is not avoidance. It's strategy. You don't always have to explain, justify, or fight back. Sometimes walking away is the loudest statement you can make. There's power in conserving your energy for what truly matters. Every time you respond to negativity, you're feeding it, and what you feed grows. The people who try to provoke you want your reaction because your reaction gives them relevance. But when you withhold it, you starve their influence over you. You stop letting their words occupy your mind and emotions. You realize your energy is your currency, and you don't spend it where it brings no return. Instead, you invest it in growth, purpose, and people who actually value you. The moment you stop fighting meaningless battles, you free yourself to fight the ones that truly matter, the ones within you, not around you. Learning when to walk away is not surrender. It's wisdom. It's choosing peace over pride. Sometimes, the mature thing is not to prove someone wrong, but to show that their behavior isn't worth your presence. The people who misunderstand your silence will think you're weak, but that's fine. Let them. Their opinion doesn't define your strength. You know who you are, and you know what you're capable of. You don't need to engage in every confrontation to prove it. Maturity is realizing that you can be right and still remain silent, that you can be disrespected and still remain composed, that you can be hurt and still remain kind. Every moment you choose not to fight a useless battle, you reclaim a piece of yourself. You protect your mind from chaos and your spirit from exhaustion. Not every fight deserves a response. Some are meant to test your patience, not your power. The true measure of strength isn't how many battles you win, it's how many you rise above without letting them touch your peace. You can't stop people from being cruel, but you can stop them from changing who you are. The world is filled with people who act out of pain, insecurity, and fear. Some will speak to you with kindness one moment and turn cold the next. Others will criticize, mock, or belittle you simply because they don't understand your light. You can't control what's inside them, their bitterness, their jealousy, their frustration, but you can control how you respond to it. That's where your strength lies. Cruelty will find you no matter how good, gentle, or humble you are. But you have a choice: to become bitter like them or to stay true to who you are despite it all. There's a quiet kind of courage in refusing to let someone's darkness infect your spirit. When people throw hate your way, they're really showing you the weight they carry inside. Their cruelty isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their wounds. Hurt people, but healed people protect their peace. You can't change their behavior, but you can decide not to mirror it. When someone mistreats you, your instinct might be to retaliate, to show them they can't walk over you. But sometimes the greatest power is to stay composed and keep your character intact. The goal isn't to become what they are, it's to remain who you are, even when it's hard. The truth is, every cruel person you encounter is a test of your identity. They test your patience, your principles, and your self-respect. And every time you choose not to match their energy, you pass that test. You prove that your peace is not negotiable, and your integrity is not for sale. It's easy to be kind when everyone is kind to you. But real strength is staying kind, disciplined, and graceful when others make it difficult. You don't let their behavior rewrite your values. You keep your standards high, not because they deserve it, but because you do. You have to remind yourself that your light will always make someone uncomfortable. Your confidence might offend the insecure, your goodness might irritate the bitter, and your calmness might frustrate the chaotic. But that's not your problem. Don't shrink yourself to make others feel better in their darkness. Don't dull your shine to fit into places that thrive on negativity. Let people talk, let them doubt, let them misunderstand. None of that has the power to define you unless you let it. Your peace, your kindness, your consistency. Those are the traits that separate you from the noise. The most powerful thing you can do when faced with cruelty is to keep shining, keep speaking truth, keep walking with integrity. Let their hate fuel your focus, not your anger. Because the moment you allow their actions to change your nature, you give them control over your identity. And that's a power no one deserves to have. Staying kind in a cruel world isn't weakness, it's mastery. It means you've learned to protect your light, no matter how dark it gets around you. Respect yourself enough to detach. Protect your peace like it's oxygen, because it is. There comes a moment in your life when you realize not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your time, your energy, or your explanation. Some people only come close to take what they can, to drain, to test, to feed their emptiness through your presence. And you keep holding on because you care, because you believe in loyalty, because you think leaving makes you heartless. But what you need to understand is that detaching isn't cruel. It's survival. When something begins to steal your peace more than it gives you growth, it's time to let go, no matter how much you love or care. We often mistake holding on for strength, but sometimes strength looks like walking away. Detachment isn't about indifference or coldness, it's about clarity. It's recognizing that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot heal in the same environment that keeps reopening your wounds. When someone constantly disrespects your boundaries, ignores your needs, or drains your spirit, the most self-respecting thing you can do is step back. Not out of hate, but out of love for yourself. Because peace is not something you find in others. It's something you protect within yourself. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. When you continue to tolerate disrespect, excuses, or inconsistency, you send the message that you'll accept less than you deserve. Detachment is not about walking away from people carelessly. It's about walking away from situations that consistently rob you of your calm. It's understanding that love without respect isn't love at all. You can care about someone deeply and still realize they're not good for your peace. You can wish them well and still choose distance. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. When you detach, something powerful happens. The noise quiets down. The tension in your chest begins to fade. You start thinking clearly again. You remember who you are without the constant emotional pull of others' chaos. You begin to see how much energy you used to spend trying to fix what was never yours to fix. You understand that peace isn't something you beg for. It's something you enforce. Detachment is your boundary turned into action. It's your way of saying, I'm done explaining. I'm done waiting. I'm done sacrificing my mental health for temporary comfort. Respecting yourself enough to detach is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but it's also one of the most liberating. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop allowing things to hurt you repeatedly. It means you stop choosing chaos when peace is an option. When you choose to protect your energy, you reclaim your power. You remind yourself that not everything or everyone deserves a seat at your table. Peace isn't found by controlling the world around you. It's found by controlling what you allow into your world. Protect it like oxygen, because without it, you can't breathe. Strong people don't avoid hurt. They master the art of recovery. They don't live in a fantasy where no one ever betrays them, where nothing ever goes wrong. They understand that pain is part of the deal. Life doesn't ask for permission before it throws you into moments that break you open. But the difference between the strong and the weak is not who feels pain. It's who learns how to rise again after it. Strong people don't waste time pretending they're unshaken. They allow themselves to feel, to process, to fall apart if they must, but they never stay broken. They gather their pieces, one breath at a time, and rebuild something even stronger from the wreckage. Recovery is not instant. It's not glamorous. It's the quiet decision you make every morning to try again. It's waking up when you still feel the ache in your chest but choosing to move anyway. It's forgiving yourself for being human, for breaking down, for not having it all figured out. The world glorifies toughness, but true strength lies in vulnerability, in allowing yourself to face the pain instead of burying it. You can't heal what you refuse to feel. Strong people know this. They don't run from hurt. They face it head-on, dissect it, and extract the lesson hidden beneath it. Pain, when processed correctly, becomes wisdom. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every betrayal leaves behind a message. It teaches you who you can trust, what you deserve, and where you need to grow. Recovery is not about pretending the hurt never happened. It's about refusing to let it define who you become. You take what you've learned, you hold your head higher, and you move forward with a deeper sense of self. That's how pain becomes power. The wound that once made you weak turns into the source of your resilience. Strong people also understand that healing is not linear. Some days you'll feel powerful, and some days you'll collapse under the weight of it all. Both days are part of the process. Strength is not found in never falling. It's in getting up, again and again, even when your knees still tremble. Recovery isn't about speed, it's about endurance. It's about trusting that every moment of discomfort is reshaping you into someone who can handle life with more grace and more courage. You don't have to heal perfectly, you just have to keep going. In the end, being strong doesn't mean you're untouched by pain. It means pain no longer controls you. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start saying, "This happened, and I'm still standing." That's power. That's growth. The art of recovery is about rewriting your story with strength instead of suffering. You don't avoid the storm. You walk through it, soaked but standing, wiser than before. That's what it means to be truly unbroken. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors with locks. You choose who gets access and who doesn't. Too often, people confuse being kind with being available. They think saying yes to everyone makes them good, selfless, or strong. But in reality, constantly saying yes to others while saying no to yourself slowly erases who you are. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They're about protecting the parts of you that keep you grounded, focused, and whole. You can care deeply about others and still refuse to let them walk all over your peace. That's not coldness, that's clarity. Having boundaries means knowing where you end and someone else begins. It's understanding that your time, your energy, and your emotions are not free for anyone to take. People who love you in a healthy way will understand your limits and respect them. The ones who get angry, guilt-trip you, or call you selfish for having boundaries are the very reason you need them. Boundaries expose intentions. They reveal who values your presence and who only values your usefulness. Every time you set one, you're teaching people how to treat you, and you're reminding yourself that your peace has a price. Many of us grow up thinking that protecting ourselves is wrong, that saying no makes us difficult or unkind. But boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They're doors that you open and close with intention. You decide who gets to come in and how far they can go. Some people will stay outside, some will be welcome in your living room, and only a few will earn the right to see your inner world. That's balance. That's how you keep your spirit safe while still being open to connection. It's not isolation, it's discernment. The truth is, without boundaries, you'll eventually run dry. You'll give so much that you start resenting the very people you tried to please. You'll start feeling unseen, unheard, and unappreciated. That's what happens when you try to build relationships without self-respect. Boundaries are a form of love, not just for yourself, but for others too. They keep resentment from building. They make your yes mean something because it's not forced or guilt-driven. It's genuine. You cannot show up fully for others if you're constantly betraying yourself. Boundaries allow you to love without losing yourself in the process. You have to remember that you're not obligated to explain every decision you make. No is a full sentence. You don't need to justify your silence, your distance, or your standards. People who truly value you will never need you to break yourself to keep them comfortable. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you're difficult. It means you're done letting people drain the parts of you that took years to build. The right people will never be threatened by your limits. They'll be thankful for your honesty. Boundaries are how you protect your peace, your power, and your purpose. And no one else has the right to hold that key but you. You owe no explanation for your distance. Protecting your peace doesn't require permission or validation. There comes a time when you stop feeling guilty for outgrowing people, places, and habits that no longer serve you. You begin to realize that silence is not rejection, it's self-preservation. Sometimes you have to pull back, not because you stopped caring, but because you finally learned to care about yourself. Distance is not always a punishment for others. Often, it's a reward for you. It's the space you give yourself to breathe, to think, to reset, and to remember who you are without the noise of everyone else's expectations. Not everyone will understand why you choose distance. Some will call you cold. Others will say you've changed, and they'll be right. You have. You've changed because you're no longer willing to carry the weight of other people's chaos. You've changed because you've learned that your energy is sacred, and not everyone deserves a share of it. People who thrive on drama, manipulation, or emotional dependency will always take your silence personally. They'll twist it, question it, and try to make you feel wrong for protecting yourself. But you don't owe them a response. You don't owe them an explanation for choosing peace over pressure. Distance gives you perspective. When you step back, you start seeing things clearly. The conversations that were draining, the people who only showed up when they needed something, the connections that existed out of habit, not mutual respect. It's in the silence that truth reveals itself. The people who value you will respect your space. They'll understand that distance isn't disinterest, it's maturity. But the ones who depended on your presence to fill their emptiness will resist it. That resistance is your confirmation that your boundary is necessary. When you give yourself permission to create space, you reclaim your emotional balance. You start to hear your own thoughts again. You begin to reconnect with your priorities and your purpose. You realize that peace doesn't always come from adding things to your life. Sometimes it comes from letting things go. You stop chasing closure from people who don't have the capacity to give it. You stop explaining yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. Your peace becomes your reason, and that's enough. Choosing distance doesn't mean you stop loving people. It means you start loving yourself in a way that doesn't require constant damage control. You no longer run after people to prove your worth or beg for clarity. You understand that sometimes the most powerful move is quiet withdrawal. You leave situations that no longer align with your values and stop apologizing for it. You stop explaining your healing to those who broke you. Because the truth is, real peace begins the moment you stop asking for permission to protect it. You owe no one your constant presence, only yourself your consistent peace. Forgiveness is not about them. It's about freeing you. Most people think forgiveness means excusing the person who hurt them, acting like it never happened, or pretending they didn't feel the pain. But that's not forgiveness. That's denial. Real forgiveness is hard, raw, and deeply personal. It's not a gift you give to the person who broke you. It's a release you give to yourself. Because holding on to bitterness doesn't punish them. It poisons you. It lives inside your mind, whispering their name in moments of peace, replaying their actions like an endless film you never wanted to watch. And every time you replay it, you reopen the wound. Forgiveness doesn't mean what they did was okay. It doesn't mean you have to trust them again or invite them back into your life. It means you're tired of carrying the weight. It means you refuse to let what happened define who you become. Some people will never say they're sorry. Some will never understand the damage they caused. But you can't spend your life waiting for closure that may never come. Forgiveness is your way of saying, you no longer have power here. It's not weakness. It's a declaration of strength. A decision to stop letting pain rent space in your heart. It takes time to get there. Sometimes you'll think you've forgiven, and then something will remind you of the past, and the anger will return. That's part of healing. Forgiveness isn't one moment. It's a process. A daily choice to loosen your grip on the pain and replace it with peace. You don't have to feel ready to forgive to start forgiving. You just need to want freedom more than you want revenge. When you understand that forgiveness doesn't make you naive but wise, you stop seeing it as surrender and start seeing it as strength. There's courage in letting go. The easy thing to do is to stay angry, to hold on to resentment because it makes you feel protected. Anger feels powerful, but over time, it consumes you. It hardens your heart, blinds your vision, and keeps you stuck in the very story you're trying to escape. Forgiveness cuts the cord. It doesn't erase the memory, but it releases the emotional hold it has on you. You stop reliving it, stop analyzing it, stop needing answers that don't exist. You make peace with the fact that some people will never be who you needed them to be. And that's okay. In the end, forgiveness isn't about forgetting the pain. It's about reclaiming your power from it. You can't change what happened, but you can decide how long it follows you. Forgiveness allows you to move forward without carrying the weight of yesterday on your back. It lets you breathe again. It lets you smile without guilt. It lets you live freely, unchained from the bitterness that once defined you. Forgiveness is not about them. It's about freeing you to become who you were meant to be before they ever hurt you. Strength is quiet, not loud. Real power doesn't need to shout, prove, or demand attention. It's not about how many people you can intimidate or how loudly you can make your presence known. True strength is the kind that speaks through composure, through calmness in the face of chaos, through patience when anger feels easier, through dignity when disrespect tries to drag you down. The strongest person in the room is rarely the one who talks the most. It's the one who listens, observes, and chooses peace over performance. Because loudness might get attention, but quiet strength earns respect. There's something deeply powerful about a person who doesn't need to announce their strength. They simply carry it, in their tone, in their posture, in their silence. They know who they are, and that knowledge doesn't require validation. They don't waste time proving their worth to people who are too blind to see it. When someone disrespects them, they don't react out of ego. They respond out of awareness. They understand that losing their temper only means losing control. And control, emotional, mental, and spiritual, is the true definition of power. Strong people don't chase recognition. They move quietly, build privately, and let their results speak for them. They understand that you don't need to fight every battle to win the war. Sometimes, walking away from something, or someone, is not weakness, but wisdom. It takes far more strength to walk away from an argument than to win one. It takes courage to stay silent when provoked. It takes discipline to remain calm when everything inside you wants to shout. But that's what separates emotional maturity from emotional chaos. The quiet strength that holds back is often the loudest statement you'll ever make. We live in a world that confuses volume with value. People think being loud makes them powerful, but noise fades quickly. What lasts is presence, that steady, grounded energy that makes others feel calm just by being near you. You don't have to fight to be seen. You just have to be solid enough to stand still while everyone else is shaking. Quiet strength doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you've learned to master your emotions so deeply that they no longer master you. You don't let pain make you bitter, and you don't let anger make you small. You carry your scars with grace and move forward with intention. The real power is walking away without losing your calm, your character, or your compassion. Because anyone can walk away angry, but it takes strength to walk away whole. You don't let the situation harden you. You let it refine you. You stay kind, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Quiet strength isn't about proving anything. It's about protecting everything. Your peace, your energy, your dignity. That's what makes you untouchable. That's the kind of power that can't be faked, borrowed, or broken. It's the kind that comes from within, and once you have it, no one can take it from you.